Hello, and welcome to the Bluegrass Sports Show, or
We are the BS Show. We are two fat guys that talk crap. Today we come to you.
wait. My name's Carl.
What?
Your name?
You didn't let me give the moniker. We are the whatever of whatever. We are the
You
whatever.
didn't. You was saying today we're coming to you, and I thought you
yes,
was going to tell them
and
what the video is about.
Oh,
All right, what are we? Because
I
I don't know what.
I was going to say today we are coming to you without an extra moniker.
Ah, all that. So what's your name?
You know, have a name.
Killing me, folks.
I'm Perry.
The animal. There we go. All right. And today, now, we're coming at you with our picks for the top 5 NBA coaches of all time.
I have nothing to add.
I think it's going to be agreeable and debatable at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Because multiple coaches can be in multiple spots on this list. So it's all just about personal preference to me. So nothing to add there. Perry,
Me.
you want to go first?
Well, I've got Larry Brown at number 5.
I do too.
So, I mean, we're hitting off the same tee first thing. You're talking about the only coach in organized basketball history, to win both a championship at the college Division I level and in the NBA. Of course, he won his college basketball title at Kansas. He won his NBA title in 2004 with Detroit.
And one thing, though, that I think with Larry Brown, and I may be completely false about this, but I don't feel like he's got continued success.
He's a great basketball mind, but you have great teams, or you just have god-awful teams with Larry Brown. I mean, his coaching tree in college is fantastic.
Right.
You've got Cal and Roy Williams, the two premier examples of his coaching.
Well, I don't really like Roy Williams.
Well, I don't particularly care for Roy Williams myself either, but still, his success is undeniable. And then within the NBA, he's coached everywhere there is to coach. He's coached with Denver. He's coached with San Antonio. He's coached the Clippers.
Philly.
He's coached the Pacers. He's coached Philly. He's coached Detroit. He's coached Charlotte. He's coached the Knicks. I mean, everywhere there is to coach, he's been there.
And he's always a rebuilding coach to me. That's what it seems like.
Unfortunately, he's a guy, and I think he may have been the coach of the Bobcats whenever they went to their only playoff berth. So if he got Charlotte Bobcats to the playoffs, well, their first berth, they've been twice at this point. But yes, Larry Brown, to me, there's other coaches I think that you could find that maybe has had more sustained success. I almost had Steve Kerr at number 5. I did.
At this point,
you want to know what stopped me?
The win-loss ratio, or not ratio, but just the number of wins and losses.
No, that's actually what made me consider him. His record as a head coach has been
his
phenomenal.
Winning percentage. He ain't got the wins and losses that accumulate.
No, I wasn't even considering that. He's been a head coach 3 seasons and has 2 championships. What stopped me from putting Steve Kerr in this list is the mere fact that he missed over half a season last year, and the Warriors still were just
right.
He was still behind the scenes,
and he's also instilled already his style and everything. So.
Yes, I mean it was an orchestrated. It's man down, next man up. It was even that with the Warriors coaching staff with Steve Kerr's absence. Steve Kerr has a major role. That team was good before Steve Kerr. He made them a championship contender. Yeah. I almost put I debate, but to me, Larry Brown at this point beats out Kerr. But Kerr
maybe, but it's close.
If Kerr can get his back lined out to where he can continue to coach, look out.
Yeah, it's close, but
especially if he's got to coach.
No doubt. So, are we going my number 4 or your number 4?
If you want to go with your number 4, we've talked to Larry Brown.
Okay. My number 4 is Pat Riley.
Disagree, but go ahead.
Okay. I've got Pat at number 4. And you are probably not liking my number 3. And that's probably why you disagree.
My money says we have them switched, but go ahead.
Maybe.
Go ahead.
Maybe. My number 4 is Pat. And, I mean, when you talk championship, won championship 06 with the with the Heat, Big Shaq Daddy, That's why I said the Lakers. Thanks, Shaq. And then the Lakers, back in, what years was it exactly? 88?
He was the head coach for the Lakers championship. They won 5 in the 80s. They won in 80.
3 of them was him, though, right?
Yeah. Yes. Maybe 4 of those were his. And they won in 80, 82, 85,
I think the late
87,
ones were
and
his.
88.
I think the late ones were his.
Well, they definitely were. Of course, he coached the Lakers up until at the beginning of the 90s. But what I can't remember directly if 4 of the Lakers' 80s championships were his or just 3. But he was on the coaching staff for the other 2.
Right. And then the one with the Heat, obviously. So he's got either, I don't know, I'm thinking he's got 5.
Why don't you save me some Pat Riley?
Okay.
Save me some Pat
That's
Riley.
fine.
My number 4 is Red Auerbach.
Yep.
Red Auerbach.
Yeah.
Back. I have him on this list merely because he was the cornerstone for what was the greatest basketball franchise dynasty of all time. And that's just with the Bill Russell-led Celtics.
Yeah.
I think Red Auerbach was a piece of crap. That's just my opinion. I think he was...
As a person?
No, I mean, just... I don't know him as a person. I can't speak to him as a person.
I mean, but
I know his
personality appears.
He was a very devious individual. He was a cheat. Just point blank, he was a cheat. He would manufacture issues to give Boston great advantages in Boston. It's not a secret. It's well known. Even Boston fans will tell you if that's the truth. But the success is still there.
Right.
Of course, the run that he had is still there, which he wasn't even the coach for all of that success. He at some point gave the reins to Bill Russell, and Russell coached the Celtics as a player coach forever. But Red was still in the front office, kind of like what Jerry West did with the Lakers in the 80s. And what he did with the Lakers in the 90s, and then on down the road, what Pat Riley did with the Heat.
Right.
Of course, that was that was Red Auerbach before that. Red was really the first person to do that. Red deserves a spot on this list. I'm just not a Red fan.
Right, and that we did flip him. He's my number 3.
Okay, well, my number 3 is Pat Riley.
Okay.
So you spoke in terms about his success with the Lakers.
Right.
We covered that Showtime, Magic, Kareem, James Worthy, Michael Cooper, Byron Scott, those guys.
Yeah.
What you're going to go on now is then he goes to the New York Knicks after he's with the Lakers. The Knicks are a contender every year.
Mm-hmm.
After the Knicks, he goes to Miami. Miami's a contender.
Yep.
His entire tenure there as a head coach. Now he goes into the front office later on in his career as a head coach and brings in Stan Van Gundy. Or was it? No, it's Mike Van Gundy. I'm sorry. It's Mike Van Gundy. No, it's Stan.
It was Stan. I don't like Stan.
Yeah, it's Stan Van Gundy. It was Stan. I'm sorry.
Mike is the skinny one, right?
Yeah. You're right. Stan Van Gundy. And just, he can't win with the Wade. They are the 1 seed, but he can't get them over the hump.
I just don't think Stan's a very good coach myself.
I don't particularly either, but he's also had success in places that would. I think he's a decent coach. I think he's a good coach.
He's
not
an
a great coach.
Yeah,
he's a good coach, not great. But Pat Riley takes over the 06 team, and just that team was fantastic.
Yep.
I mean, we know he has at least 4 championships, so and maybe more. And he's the architect behind the
LeBron James.
Exactly.
And
super
another thing,
team that started
LeBron
the era of
James
super teams.
has came out and said that it was Pat Riley's way all the way down.
Yes.
Even though Spoelstra was a coach, it still came down from Pat Riley. Everything was done his way. So he pretty much coached those teams,
You know what the best part about Pat Riley is?
I don't know. That he played at Kentucky?
Played at Kentucky. He's a Cal guy.
And I'm guessing your number 3 is Riley. You said that earlier, right?
Pat Riley at number 3, yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll let you go on with your number 2.
Yeah, we've already talked about Red Auerbach, which it would actually be your turn to start the evens. So go ahead and give me your number 2.
Well, with Red, right, all those championships, that's the only reason I'm giving him the nod over Pat. But it was very interchangeable.
Pat Riley built a winning. I
think he just brings a winning mindset.
Exactly. Pat Riley brought just a winning mentality everywhere he went. And it's just you're looking at You're looking at three different franchises that the Knicks haven't been. I don't care what New York Knicks fans think. You haven't been relevant, with the exception of Pat Riley in the early to mid '90s. You haven't been relevant in 40 years. Get over it. But Pat Riley brought the Knicks back from nothing.
Right.
And he built the thug team that was the '90s. People will put Riley in the slick back hair mindset. He's a flashy guy. Showtime. A lot of people say Pat Riley's mindset, his mentality was that Knicks team mean.
Oh yeah.
He's a thug.
Definitely, he's a thug.
He's a thug.
So
he's living a Scarface life down in Miami.
So my number 2.
That's how he got Shaq. He showed him Dwayne Wade. Say hello to my little friend.
All right, my number 2 is where I think we got debate.
Worked for Ron as well.
Yeah,
say hello to my little friend.
This is a little friend. He's on what?
Wade 6'5", 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
But still, Shaq.
I'm done. Go ahead.
Shaq knows he's little.
I know, but go ahead. Go ahead.
So here's where I think we're gonna flip them to.
Okay.
My number 2 is Phil Jackson.
Okay. Tell me why.
Tell me why.
Tell me why. I can't wait.
The only thing with Phil, I think he was the greatest at, I want to say, changing his coaching style, but not really changing his style. I think conforming to his players while playing the same mode of basketball, but he would do things for certain players that helped them become part of the team or, play the brand of basketball he wanted. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to say. I just don't really know how to word it, but I think he was the greatest at that. He's got the 6 rings. I think he's got more than that, actually. How many? No, he's got 11. Sorry. As a coach, he's got 11. I was thinking 6 rings with Michael. 6 rings, Michael, 5 with Kobe. But the thing you can say about Phil, and it's what everybody's going to say for every time he's brought up as how good he was as a coach, is he always had most people considered the greatest player in the NBA at that point on his roster with his championships. But kind of like Cal, to me, he's really good at managing egos and drives them to play. Even though Jordan wanted to win so bad, and Kobe the same way, that you didn't really have to drive them to play team ball. They just wanted to win. But the triangle offense, he's definitely a great coach. He's got 11 rings. But that's the only knock. He's always had who many, if not everybody, considered to be the best player in the league at that time on his roster.
The only coach on our list that doesn't have that same title is
Right.
Larry Brown. You look at Red, while granted I think Wilt was the best player in the league at that time.
I do too.
Look, what was your reasoning for having the 65 Celtics on your top 5 basketball teams of all time?
What was my reasoning?
How many Hall of Famers?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
I know.
Now, you're looking at Pat Riley, who's also on our list, so that covers Red. We're looking at Pat Riley, who in
Magic Johnson,
his championships, Kareem, Magic, James Worthy, Shaq, Dwayne Wade.
Right.
He had Patrick Ewing in New York. He had Reggie Miller in Indiana.
Right.
He didn't coach Indiana. Never mind. That was Larry Brown. Sorry, my mistake. He had Patrick Ewing.
But he still had great
players. He had
players.
Alonzo Mourning. He had Glenn Rice.
I know what you're saying.
Okay. We get to Phil. And I also have him at number 2.
Oh.
I do have him at number 2.
Okay.
You're looking at Phil Jackson, 11 championships he alluded to. 3 different three-peats. That's something that's fantastic. I don't care what his roster looks like. 3 different three-peats as a coach.
Yeah.
You've got Michael and Scotty that win 6 championships, and arguably you'll never know what happens. But if Michael doesn't go away for 2 years,
right,
you could easily have 8 straight championships at that point.
Mm-hmm.
If Michael doesn't retire in '98, they could have still kept winning. That team could have won another title.
Right.
And then you go forward, you've got Kobe and Shaq.
Right.
And then you go on down the road, you've got Shaq and Powell. Or no, I'm sorry, Kobe
Shaq
and Powell. Shaq Powell. Kobe and Powell. To me, Phil Jackson is what you're alluding to as far as him adjusting the triangle offense to different players.
Not necessarily triangle offense, though. I was just meaning his,
that's Phil Jackson.
off the floor coaching style. That's
yes,
what I mean.
Understand that. But by the same token, he had the same kind of guy in Kobe and Jordan.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about.
No, I'm talking about off the floor.
No, when I'm saying off the floor, I mean like I've heard stories. He made Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr said this himself. I've watched it. He said that Phil Jackson made him go to a party. Him, Tony Kukoc, and somebody else go to a party with Dennis Rodman. Yes, made them go to a party with Dennis Rodman just to bring Dennis Rodman into the team.
People think Steve Kerr's hair stands up because of gel or hairspray. It's that party.
Yeah.
It's that party. But I've got Phil at number 2, going back to his own court coaching. Fantastic.
Yeah.
11 championships. The top 3 coaches that I have made on my list, there you can take for all 3 of them. Now, the reason why I have Greg Popovich at number 1
Me too.
is because Popovich won titles in between the Kobe Shaq run.
Mm-hmm.
Popovich won titles, and with the rise of Kobe and LeBron being on their own and Kobe winning titles,
Right.
Popovich has beat, as a coach, LeBron for championships. Popovich has won 5
sustained success
over
one team.
They have won 5 championships since 1999. 5 championships. That's a 19-year span.
Yeah, it's a big one.
And of course, between championships, 99. He's out of pop. Between 99 to 2014, 5 championships in 15 years. That's one every 3 years.
Yep.
Okay? And look at what he's done it with. His first title, yes, he had Duncan and David Robinson. Mm-hmm. But look at the rest of the roster.
Right.
And then you go on down the line, you've got an old Robinson, and then you still have Tim Duncan being the best player in the league. But you've got young guys that he had a hand in drafting at the bottom of an NBA draft in Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. Mm-hmm. And his coaching style just making their skills exceed to their... He's turned them into Hall of Famers.
Yep.
You go to 2005, that same team. You've got a few added pieces here. You've got Bruce Bowen. You got Robert Horry. The other teams had Steve Smith. This team has Brent Berry. Yep. You've got pieces here and there. But you've got a big 3 that you're built around. Mm-hmm. You go to 2007.
It's big 3 still there.
Same team.
Then,
Same team. Now, the core bench pieces may be different.
Yeah.
But it's the same team.
Yep.
You go to 2014. It's the same team. Yes, you've got Kawhi Leonard that's going to win Finals MVP. You've got Boris Diaw. Diaw just out here being all Frenchy.
All Frenchy.
All Frenchy. I love Boris Diaw. Love Boris Diaw. Cody Thompson loves Boris Diaw. That's his man. It's his man.
Oh, jeez. All Frenchy, boys.
You've got Patty Mills doing his thing. You got Tiago Splitter. But what I'm saying is that he has coached for 15 years. And it's not that he's run the same team for 15 years. The roster, the big 3 have been there.
Yeah.
But he's completely reorchestrated how each team has played and made it work.
Yep, and
successfully.
He changes his coaching style too a little bit.
He has 6 less championships than Phil. That's why you can give an argument for Phil to be number 1. And I know you have Pop at your number 1 as well.
I do. Yep.
So we're not even going to worry about his number 1. We're already talking about it. You can make an argument for Phil.
Mm-hmm. But you can easily make an argument for Pop. And that's the same thing I said. I could easily see moving Red down to 4.
Speaking of Pop.
Shut up. I ain't got one. Quit showing off. I gave you that one. Shouldn't have. Take it back.
Gracious.
Indian giver. So, like I said, you could easily drop Red down to number 4. And I said that before that, what was it? I said it on one of our earlier videos, but I can see you arguing the placement of each one, but I don't see how you argue any of these guys off the top 5. You know what I mean?
Larry Brown's the one that you can make an argument for.
Right, off the top 5, but you can still make the argument for him being on there. Yep. And yeah, Larry Brown was debatable, but these top 4 are not. They're on the list. Yep. Now, Red may get on the list because of time frame or whatever. But still,
I'm not a red guy.
He's still got all those championships. He's got the success, so you've got to give him the nod.
I think the reason why I'm not a red guy is because so much of his shenanigans was against my Lakers.
And against your not like Jerry West or overrated Jerry West.
No, you heard me call Jerry West overrated.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
Jerry West, great player.
But
his historical precedence, he's the logo. That's it.
But anyway.
He had great stats.
So I think I said that this may be a debatable earlier.
It's debatable because I know 2 Laker fans that are going to castrate me for having Phil Jackson at number 2.
Well, those are Laker fans, though.
They believe in Phil. We have reason to believe in Phil.
Well, yeah.
Phil has made me happy.
But I'm just saying, those are Laker fans. If you take Spurs fans, they're going to argue up and down with you. You know what I mean? It's just it's just being a fan of a team.
You've heard me talk. Lakers and Spurs. Lakers and Spurs. Lakers and Spurs. Shaq and Timmy.
But anyway, so as always, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up. Pretty quick video, but that's because there wasn't much debate and we agreed on a lot of picks. And the ones we didn't agree on, I could easily see going the other way, so there wasn't much argument. Well, the one we didn't agree on. We just didn't agree on one place. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Yeah, there's part of Phil Jackson right there. If you liked it, hit the like button and that subscribe button. Once again, when we get to 50, we're going to go live on Facebook or YouTube. Facebook page, Bluegrass Sports Show. Twitter is Bluegrass Sport 2. And we're going to go live on Facebook or YouTube and do questions. You're going to be able to call in. I will give out the number on Facebook and Twitter beforehand so that you have the phone number to call into. Can't wait for that one. That one's going to be fun.
Can I finish with something?
Yeah, sure.
Lee Bill, I love you, man.
So, just because Perry's saying that, because he commented on there in Carrie's defense.
Who's Carrie?
Perry's defense, sorry. I just called you your sister. How does that feel?
We have no place on our set for such a scrub name, for such an unprofessional name of someone whose brilliance.
That's prettier than you.
Her brilliance, it's fake. Her brilliance, her light bulb shines about as bright as a black garbage bag.
Shines about as bright as a Shaq's Chickies.
You racial prick. Close the video.
It's just shining. The light's shining off of them. Anyway.
They are kind of rosy.
They are. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.